Hey guys, today here's our objective. We're going to solve equations when there are variables on both sides of the equal sign. Here we go with our first example. 4x minus 8 equals 2x plus 6. I see that there are variables, which are my letters, the x. There are variables on both sides of the equal sign. So there's a variable on this side and on the right side. And there's also the coefficients. We have a coefficient of 4 and 2. And so when there's variables on both sides of the equal sign, our goal is to get all of our x values to one side and all of our numbers to the other side. It doesn't matter which side the variables are on or which side the numbers are on. You can work either way, but most people try to prefer the variables on the right side. And we'll see a few strategies about why you can work with it on both sides of the equal sign. So what I like to do is I like to keep the larger value and I like to get rid of the smaller value. So I want to look at 2x and 4x. I want to see which value is larger, our 2x or our 4x. 4x is bigger, so I want to keep my 4x, and I always want to get rid of my smaller coefficient and variable. I like to do this because when you get rid of your smaller coefficient, you always keep your coefficient positive. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2x from this side. That 2x minus 2x is going to give us 0. So we're going to be left with just 6. But if I subtract 2x from this side, I also need to subtract 2x from the other side of the equal sign. And 4x minus 2x is 2x. I still have a minus 8. And like we said before, this became a 0. So we're left with just 6. Now I have 2x minus 8 equals 6. We know how to solve this. I need to get all of my numbers onto the other side. So I'm going to add add just 8 to each side. Excuse me. And I get 14. So 2x equals 14. I now can do the final step. I need to divide each side by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. X is equal to 7. Let's take a look at our next example. 3x minus 4 equals 8x minus 14. Again, I see that I have coefficients and variables on each side. I want to identify which one is larger. 8x is larger than 3x, so I want to keep 8x and move 3x. I want to do this. I always want to get rid of the smaller value or the smaller coefficient because then my x's are positive. So 3x minus 3x gives me 0. I'm also going to subtract 3x from this side. 8x minus 3x is 5x. And now I'm just going to fill everything else in. I am left with a negative 4 on my left side. And I have a minus 14 still on my right side. So we don't want to forget to bring those negatives along with it. Now some people may hate the way that this is written. And that's totally fine. We are used to seeing our x's on the left side and our numbers on the right side. So if you prefer to, you can rewrite this. Not everyone will like to do this, but some people like to do this. So I'm going to give you the option. You can rewrite this. Just by moving, the equal sign stays where it is. All you need to do is swap what's on the right side with what's on the left side. So the 5x minus 14, just in the order it was given, will go to the left side, and the minus 4 will go to the right side. If you prefer solving it this way and rearranging your equation, go ahead and do that. I like to leave mine how it is so that I don't make mistakes, because anytime I change something, I tend to make mistakes. So I'm going to go back to this equation and solve it. I have all of my x's on one side, so I want to move all my numbers to the other side. So I need to get rid of this negative 14 so that x is by itself. So I will add 14 to both sides. And again, I did that so that I was just left with 5x on this side. Now I need to be careful. I have negative 4 plus 14. I see that I have one negative and one positive, so I know when I have a negative and a positive that I subtract. 14 minus 4 is 10. And I need to see, are there more good guys or bad guys? There are more good guys, so it's a positive 10. And I'm left with 10 equals 5x. Now to solve for x, I can divide each side by 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 5 divided by 5 is 1, or just x, so 2 equals x, or I can rewrite that as x equals 2. One last example to do. This one's probably my favorite one and that we didn't get to yesterday to do. I have 6 minus 3x equals 20 minus 7x. So again, I see that I have variables and coefficients on both sides of the equal sign. One's on the left side of the equal sign, one's on the right side of the equal sign. What I want to do is identify which number is bigger. Is negative 7x or negative 3x bigger? I want to move the number that is smaller and keep the number that is bigger. Well, if we think to a number line, and we have negative 3 and negative 7, which one is larger, negative 3x or negative 7x? Well, negative 3 is closer to the right, or closer to 0 on the number line, so that number is larger. So if negative 3x is larger, I want to keep it on this side, and I want to get rid of my negative 7x so that my x's will be positive. So let's go ahead and do that. What's the opposite of subtracting 7x? Well, that's adding 7x. I'm going to do that to each side. I have negative 3x plus 7x. Negative 3 plus 7, I have a negative and a positive, so I'm going to subtract. 7 minus 3 is 4x. And we knew that it's positive because there are more positive 7s than negative 3s. So I have 4x. What do I still have left? I still have a 6 over here. And we said that this became positive because there's more good guys. So it's 6 plus 4x equals 20. Now I can solve for x. I will subtract 6 from each side. 20 minus 6. One's positive, one's negative, so I subtract like normal. 14. And I'm left with 4x equals 14. Now, the next thing I need to do to each side is to divide by 4. Some people may say, oh, this doesn't work perfectly. That's totally okay. We can always get a decimal as the answer. 14 divided by 4, if I don't know that off the top of my head, I will do 14 divided by 4. 4 goes into 14 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract and get 2. If I want to write this as a decimal, I'll put my decimal point and a 0, and bring my decimal point up as well. Bring down my 0. 4 goes into 25 times, and 5 times 4 is going to give me that other 20. So I know that x equals 3 and 5 times. You have the rest of the packet to do independently, and then the back side. Good luck.